Hi, I'm Melissa Ainsley, and this is the 11 Intuitions podcast. Today we're talking about something that comes up for so many of us who walk this path, being called weird. The truth is that word doesn't mean what people think it means. We had 2 sessions this week with Minda. One was with Brienne, and Spirit came through with this beautiful reminder. Our self-talk, the way we speak to ourselves, is the very energy that fuels or blocks our light. Her grandmother came through so strong, saying, you can knock that off, reminding her to stop shrinking and to speak with kindness to herself. And then she had an oracle card that Minda picked up. And it said right after that reading, speak to yourself with kindness. And that's really the theme of today's episode, how the way we talk to ourselves shapes how spirit works through us. In that reading, it says, I have a lot to give, which is what Brienne said, but I don't say a lot because I don't want to be too much or too weird. And if you've ever met Brienne, she is very lively, very outspoken, very bubbly. And that's what we all love about her. And to think that inside she wants to dim herself is sad. And that line stopped me. But so many of us have felt that. And we edit ourselves to fit into this world, into the world that says intuition, sensitivity, or mediumship is strange. But what if weird just means we're tuned in? And Minda said to her, as soon as you accept all of you, other people will learn how to accept you. And I was sitting watching that reading and I felt that. I felt that watching Brienne going, people will accept you once you accept yourself. And Minda had just told her that. And it really just made me think of how many people have had an aunt who was just so different. They dressed differently. They called her eccentric, but she accepted herself. She didn't care what people thought. And they just loved her for who she was. Brienne, I want you to listen to this today and know that can be you and that is you. People accept you for who you are. You are not weird. You are Brienne. And I want you today going forward to stop dimming your light, because you're afraid that people won't accept you. You are who you are. And the fact that you have to dim yourself to have other people accept you, stop that, because you are keeping other people from knowing who you really are. And you are exceptional. You are amazing. And you have so much to give to this world. And that is what's keeping you from moving forward, which is what Minda later told you. That's what's blocking you. And once you fully accept it, you won't have to worry. And that is what I found in my life, that I fully accepted my gifts and I quit worrying about what other people thought of me. And now I don't worry so much. And when I do, it feels foreign to me and I don't like it. Like this past weekend, we had an event that we were supposed to go to. We had paid for it several months ago. And ironically enough, Caitlin, my assistant, and I had not been around each other. But what are the odds that her and her 2 children got the flu? And then I got the flu also. Again, what are the odds? And we both were like, hey, we're still going to try it. We're kind of feeling better. I didn't want to let her down. She didn't want to let me down. She was downplaying her symptoms. We're like, okay, on Friday morning, we'll make the decision. And I'm just like, Caitlin, I can't. I didn't want to make anybody sick, but I didn't want to disappoint her either. Once I said, we're not going, it felt like a huge weight. And then she started telling me that her symptoms were worse. And she's like, but I didn't want to disappoint you. And that's the thing. We weren't being ourselves. We weren't authentically being ourselves. And also, my husband was so kind to go and cat sit for my daughter. So he was going to be gone all weekend. My other daughter was here. And, I didn't want to leave her alone. Plus, we have animals, and they're used to us being here. And it just was so unsettling for me. And I didn't like that feeling. I used to feel that all the time. And once I said no, that feeling went away. And that's the thing that I want people to understand is that you doing things for the wrong reasons, you're always going to have that feeling. And once we both said no, there wasn't that guilt. There wasn't that shame. It was, we're taking care of ourselves first. And that's the thing. When you accept this gift, when you are fully yourself and you do this for the right reasons, you have this calmness about yourself. And that's the thing that so many people say about me is you are so calm. And people who knew me so many years ago, especially when I worked at the hospital, that was definitely something I was not, because I wasn't living the life that I should have been living. I was working against this gift. I should not have been there. I should have been going and pursuing this gift. And I tell the story of how I was walking in to work and I was shown I was going to be let go with a mass layoff and I needed to quit. I went in and turned in my resignation. Then the next day, the whole entire IT department at the hospital, which included my husband, was let go. I had to make a decision. Was I going to quit with severe uncertainty? Because how could both of us not have a job? But I did go, sorry, what was I thinking? I can't, we can't be without insurance. But then several days later, I said, not staying, I'm leaving. That brings me back to my husband, who again is having the same issue that we had several years ago, 4 years ago. Luckily enough, he was able to be absorbed into the company that was taking over, the IT company, and has been happy for the past 4 years. But again, here we go again. When he had a reading with Minda on Monday, this is how spirit works, let me tell you. So last Friday, I put out in our sitter group that not feeling well, so let me put out all the appointments for next week. I put Minda's first. Here's her link to book. Hers was first. Put everybody else there. Get up on Monday. She doesn't have a booking. And I was like, that's weird because she always gets booked first. I looked and her link was gone. The world happened. My husband came home very, very early because he had missed all of us from cat sitting. And I said, honey, well, guess what? You're going to sit for Minda. And he had never sat for her before. And he's like, okay, all right. And I knew it was spirit. I knew it was divinely planned. She picked up on everything and told him basically there is something very heavy that is weighing on you. And spirit wants you to know, quit worrying. Just quit worrying. Well, for a man who is about to lose their livelihood, lose their job, lose the insurance, this man has had this job for 30 years. And that's hard. And to tell him, don't worry. Well, when you have the gift that I have and have the utter privilege to talk to spirit and talk to God and have that faith, you know that everything is going to be okay. I know that everything is going to be okay. I don't know how everything's going to be okay, but I know that it is. But when you're the one who prides himself on carrying the insurance, carries the insurance for both of our children, it's hard. And when you see the days clicking down, you don't have another job. They say that, there's some kind of extra coming if you stay this long with them. It just is hard. And I can feel it off of him. I can feel the feelings. I can feel the fear, the depression. I can feel all of that off of him. And it's hard. It's hard to be around him. It's hard for that. But on Monday, Minda just told him, go back to your youth. Go back to what you enjoyed doing. Go have fun. You're a good guy. You used to be a Boy Scout. You learned how to be kind and caring and all of that. You were taught well. You have a good faith. You have all of that. Go back to that. It just seemed to click. It was amazing. That reading just seemed to click with him. Let me tell you what she said. You're a good man, salt of the earth. Go back to that boy who built fires, who laughed, who believed. Don't let worry take your peace. And so when Minda read my husband Paul, 2 women came through, sisters or twins, and they brought this message about faith, about remembering that joy and innocence are the medicine for worry. It was Spirit's way of saying, don't overcomplicate what's natural. Well, I want to tie these 2 readings together. And here's what struck me. Brienne's reading, her message was about softening the inner critic, and Paul's was about softening the inner pressure. And both of them are forms of self-kindness. Both are how we make room for spirit to breathe through us. But we have to stop allowing that inner talk, that one where we're not good enough, where we're not doing well for other people, where we have to be perfect. That is what keeps us from doing this work. That's what keeps us from doing it fully, doing it where it just comes out. And we're doing a disservice to so many other people because they need to hear us. They need to hear about what we do. And the thing with Brienne is she has this light. She is so wonderful, but she's allowing the self-talk, if people think I'm weird, but that makes you who you are. It's not weird. It's not weird. You are amazing. And there are some people who won't get it, and that's okay. They are not meant to get it. But the people who need to hear it, they need to hear it the way that you present it, because they won't get it from other people. They won't get it from me. So be like, oh, I don't get that. I don't understand the way she says it. But they'll get it the way that you put it out. But you can't sit there and keep saying, I'm too weird, because you're not too weird. You're just enough. Just like Goldilocks. Just like that story. There were so many options, and she picked the one that was just right for her. So you've got to remember that. You are just enough. And the people that are meant to resonate for you, they will. And so that leads me to a topic that I love to talk about. And people who know me know that I'm a Swiftie. I was watching Taylor Swift on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and she said something that really hit me. She said that songwriting feels as natural to her as breathing. And I thought that's exactly how talking to spirit feels to me. And I always say, talking to spirit feels like breathing oxygen. And it's so true. It just comes through me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to prepare for it. It just comes through me like breathing oxygen. Now, I want you to think about, I'm sure when Taylor was younger, she was very scared. And I'm sure that when she put out her latest album, Life of a Showgirl, she was worried. Will people think this is too different? Will people think this is too weird? So connect this to self-talk theme. If Taylor had ever listened to that little voice saying, you're too much, people will think you're weird, she never would have broken as many records as she did last week. And that pun is absolutely intended. So what is the spiritual lesson here? Our weirdness is the oxygen for the people who are suffocating in silence. When we share our truth, it becomes their breath too. Spirit doesn't work through perfection. It works through permission. So if Taylor Swift ever felt like she was too weird, I'm glad, because she just put out her 12th album, and look at how amazing her work is. And it's all different, but she didn't let that weirdness stop her. And so many people resonate with her. People from young kids to old, and they find something that they can relate to in her words, in her music, and they don't think she's too much. And that's something that I want Brienne to understand. Brienne, I know that you love the band Hanson, and I think that she's gone to well over 90 shows, and that is something that makes you so unique. Use that. Talk about that. Why do you love them? What about them ignites your soul? Because that love, that space, when you listen to them, that inner joy when you talk about them, that's what people are going to find when you start truly finding yourself and finding your voice. And I see that in you. And I saw that in you when I first talked to you. Some people don't enjoy listening to Hanson, and that's okay. They're not meant to. You find your inner voice, your inner joy, and live that every single day and breathe it like oxygen, because those people need to hear from you, because you have so much you need to say. And you have so many people that need that light, that beautiful light of yours, that need to come out and hear you. And right now, my daughter is in her bedroom singing right now. And I just love it because she has no care in the world right now. And I love that she's homeschooled. And, this was not part of the podcast, but my daughter has really never fit in anywhere. But she fits in here. And she fits in this life with us. And I can tell you, when we worked at the hospital, I can tell you with 1,000,000% certainty that I could never see the life that we live now, that I never would have been a homeschool mom, that we would get phone calls from the school all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not again. But we found a place where we all fit in. We all work from home. She's homeschooled and she enjoys learning. She has found a video game and she loves to rework the system. She's like, Mom, I'm learning so much from this. This is going to be my learning for the week about how old times work. And she's incorporated this into her learning. She does not fit in. She reworks the mold. And I honestly cannot wait to see what she grows up to be. It is not going to be anything that I can imagine. I can't see her future because I think she is going to rewrite the future. I think she is going to just be out there flittering around, making wonderful things happen. And that's what this beautiful soul was made, my daughter Hadley. And she just enjoys life. And that's what I see in Brienne. She just enjoys life. And that's what I want for her. But she just has to give up this thinking that she's weird. It's not weird. It's you. It's you. And I think so many people are going to listen to this segment and see a part of themselves in it and think, I really need to let that thinking, that pattern go, because the world needs who I am. And let me tell you, if I would have stopped so many years ago and not quit my job, where would I be now? I would have been extremely unhappy. I don't know if I'd still be married, honestly. We would be very unhappy. We would not have this business. There would be several women who would not be employed with 11 Intuitions. I never would have met Caitlin. I would not have students right now. So, take that into account. This decision had a ripple effect, and my voice would not have this podcast. One decision made a lot happen. And it was because my mom passed away. And then my dad passed away. And he said, go teach. Had I been fearful of that, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. So I really want you guys to go out there. Let people hear your voice. Quit being afraid. If somebody doesn't like you or your gift, keep pushing on, because there are so many people out there who need this, who need love, who need kindness, who need reassurance, who need to hear from their loved ones. This gift is amazing. Learning about this is amazing, and it's going to change the world. So I want to share with you the card that Minda had pulled. And oracle cards just amaze me, just like tarot cards do. The card said, the stories we tell ourselves create the patterns by which we live. The words we choose to speak over ourselves influence how we think and act. That line is everything. We can't call ourselves weird, broken, or not enough and then expect our gifts to bloom. Spirit flows where kindness lives. When we say, I'm too weird, we're cutting off the very air supply our soul breathes through. I really want you to practice the card's journaling prompt. How do you feel when you speak to yourself with love and kindness? Use it as a weekly reflection or before reading for others. And I want to share something with you that only Spirit can do. Yesterday, I got a text, and it was a reminder about my daughter Hadley's dentist appointment. And it read, please reply and let us know if you're coming to you, Hadley, and Taylor's dentist appointment on Thursday. Taylor. And I'm thinking, is Taylor Swift coming to our dentist appointment on Thursday? I'll let you know if she showed up. But it's only been her and I going to our dentist appointments every 6 months for quite a long time. But again, it's just a reminder. Only Spirit can do. They can add people's names into text. But I took that as a reminder of she does this work also. It breathes through her like oxygen, just like this work breathes through me like oxygen. And it was just a reminder to me that Spirit is always there. So in closing, what both of these readings and Taylor Swift taught me is that Spirit doesn't need us to be normal. They just need us to be real. So this week, I want you to say it out loud. I am not weird. I am wired differently for a reason. Keep speaking to yourself with kindness because you're a voice, your weirdness, and your gift. It's exactly what someone else is waiting to hear. Thank you for listening to the 11 Intuitions podcast. If you'd like more information about us, please visit our website at www.11intuitions.com.